Hey guys, welcome back. It is your favorite Gimp with a Limp, and I'm back with the final part of Age of Dogfights, or at least the final part for this video series. I wanted to take and show you guys some of the extra expansions that are available for the game, because this game can get pretty much as big as you want it to get. Definitely got to say, one of my absolute favorites, World War I dogfighting, or dogfighting games that I played. I think they actually did a really good job with this, and they were nice enough to take and send me the expansions so I could cover those as well. So I've got them set out here for you. One of the neat things, I set these out here so I would remember to show you guys that I did appreciate that they included extra little the plastic pieces that you put the planes on in each one of the boxes. So you have an extra black and an extra white, or at least I received that in each one of these expansions. And I think that's just in case you make a mistake or you break one, lose one, whatever. And pieces like this, I mean, they're obviously easy to lose or drop or whatever when you have that going on. So definitely nice for them to include that. Let's start with the small one first. We have the Age of Dogfights Ottoman Empire aircraft, and I'm gonna try a couple little filming techniques here, so doing an overlay like I have here so I can show you the close-ups of some of the stuff. Now this one, just so you guys can see the back, you can see all the different types of aircraft that are included, and this is specifically just the Ottoman Empire that is in this one. 12 aircraft. Now the base game itself comes with 78. This one has 12, and I think all of these put together, when I added it up earlier, it's 166, and that's for these three boxes. So you got your 78 original, which is plenty in just the base box, and then 166 more if you go with all the expansions. And just so we have the reminder here, me bumping the camera, this is the base box. Shows all the different types of aircraft. Now, of course, you have multiples of some of the aircraft. So it's the 78 total aircraft, and then those are all the different types of aircraft that you're going to have. So let me set this one out of the way, and I'll show you what comes included with each one of these little expansions here. This one is the smallest. Something that I did appreciate is the fact that they included one of these with each one of the expansions, right? So you've got this in the base game and you have this in the expansion. List down all the aircraft, all their speeds, their agility, ceilings, their firepower, the year they were made, if they can have bombs or take recon photographs, and that point system that I talked about in the original overview. They've got all that listed down for you. Even the different types of weapons. So you can tell if it's defensive only, grayed out like this, or dorsal machine guns, all that good stuff. Shows all of this. Really like how they have each one of these included. Of course, you're going to have all of your little player boards that come with each one of them. And these are for these specific planes. You remember from our playthrough, it shows multiple different planes, so you can have more than one flying, and then their thrust, weapons, bombs, all that cool stuff, and then stats, of course, here on the top. And each one of these also did include, again, the double-sided tape for you guys to use. And again, I'm going to recommend going with the glue. CA glue worked perfectly well for this. And it's not hating on the tape, because I tried a few with the tape, again, just to test them. And the tape works fine. And again, they have to put something in the box that's portable, that someone can use to attach those pieces, right? So double-sided tape's absolutely the best route for them to take. Cheapest, most cost-efficient, and something when the person gets it, it's still going to be intact. But if you do have the option, you got a little CA glue, I would absolutely use that instead. They did include the nice little boxes here for the storage of the aircraft. These were a little different than the base ones though, right? So our base boxes had this printed on them. These did not. Since these are expansions, they were stickers that you were going to put on. So just something for me to complain about, because you guys know how much I love stickers. You guys can see how many aircraft are in there. I'm not going to dump them all out, because if I'm showing all the specific aircraft, we're going to be here forever. And these are just more of similar types that you guys have seen previously. There are some specific ones that I do want to show later. I think these expansions do a good job of allowing you to expand your game in any direction you want to go. Not to mention the fact that they are planning on doing this as a series. Don't forget this. This game, if they do it, and God, I hope they do, having a World War II series, a post-World War II series, you know, Vietnam, early jet fighter type era, and then into the modern and then super modern type aircraft, all that stuff. They're planning on taking this, their triangular system, and incorporating that in. I think it's going to work very, very well with World War II. Obviously, you would be able to combine it. Think of it kind of like Warfighter, with the way the systems all kind of interchange. I'm expecting them to go down that route. And I think it'd be really cool to create your own scenarios. Have old-timey biplanes, triplanes, stuff like that, flying against a couple of World War II Messerschmitts or, you know, Spitfire, stuff like that. Really cool system. All right, so let's go to our bigger expansions here. We have this one, and I have these pieces set out, and I think these are from this, because this one included a little bit more. If it did have extra systems included with it, it included extra little rules and scenarios, stuff like aircraft cannons, and this one has aircraft durability. And think of that as like a modifier for your aircraft's defense. So if an aircraft had these little symbols, these little dots on them, then they would actually get a, I think it's the negative modifier to the dice. Yeah, subtract 1 or 2 from the dice roll. So depending on what type of weapon your opponent's using, they're adding, you know, if they have 2 or 3 machine guns, they're adding +1. Well, if your aircraft was later model and had more durability, it could be getting a natural subtraction to that dice roll. Really cool that they included that. And this one also has an altitude level 7 included with it. So extra of these were included. Goes up to level 7, because some of these aircraft do go up to level 7. And then there was one special firing chart you guys can see here for the aircraft cannons. And then just to show you extra scenarios that they have included in with a little rule booklet here like that. And let's show you the long list of aircraft. We're not going to go over every single one, but I wanted to show you guys. As you can see, some of these do go up to altitude 7. Really cool that they have that in there. Gyroscopic engine effect, the better ascension, descending, slow deceleration, bombs, recon, all that good stuff, all the different types of weapons, some of them having cannons now, multiple different defensive type armament. Really, really cool stuff. And again, you can see the long list of different point values for these aircraft. These, actually, let me pull this out. I will show you the back of the box, because it gives you a better idea. And you can see here, this is the huge stack of cards for all the different planes that are included in this. And remember, these have at least 2 aircraft on them, so that's a lot of different aircraft. 3 boxes of new aircraft to go in it. This one, let's see, just showing you here, and I'll put this in front of the other camera so you guys can get a closer look. Yeah, 80 aircraft in this, 40 control panels, chart, and brochure. So just so you can get the closer view, you can see some of these. Kingdom of Italy, the Russian Empire, Canada, Japan. I know there's some American aircraft on this one as well. I think this is more French. Yep, United Kingdom, and then more German aircraft, some super massive aircraft in this one, taking a little bit different shape, but we're going to show you some of those others that take a way different shape here in this next box. So this is a massive expansion. This one is Age of Dogfights, World War I, additional aircraft types. That's that specific expansion. So if you want to go up to level 7, if you're interested in all of these different aircraft, this is the one you need to check out. If you guys want to see me play a scenario with some of these planes that I'm showing off, let me know. I will see if I can work it into the schedule. Just try not to have it be super massive because I do have so many things I want to cover and show you guys. But this game is a load of fun, so wanting to play it again isn't necessarily a bad thing. And I don't think this game received as much coverage as it honestly should have. All right, so with this one, we have some more plastic base stands, more altitude stands here. A couple of dice, and I have to check the rules here to see why these dice are included. I remember I read that, but I can't remember off the top of my head. Now, these are the ones, I'll throw them over here to show you guys, that includes blimps. So set this here, and you can see some of those blimp aircraft there. And again, the extra plane pieces, a little more double-sided tape, which I can use for other projects. Let me pull this rule book out. And, ooh, cool. I didn't even notice these were in the bottom of the box yet. Oh, new targets. I have to read the scenario sheet. And let's just show you guys, this is the sheet that shows all the different aircraft that are included in this one, and there is just a lot that come in this one. All the different nationalities, point costs, all that good stuff. All right, so let's pull these off for a sec because I wanted to show you some of these specific ones here because this is where it changes up a lot. This, what are these? These are the Barrage Balloons, I think, from World War I, or the anti-plane balloons. I'm not sure what you call those things. I know it's in the rule book, but there were a couple of these big boys, and I freaking love these things, man. They're airships. They have weapons. They can shoot dual frontal machine guns there on the arc, and then it's got dual in the rear. And if I read the rules right, I believe this thing can basically fire all around. It can't go that high. It can only go up to level 3. No real agility to it. But it does have a different firing arc. If I remember right, you can shoot all around with these guys. Let me find it in the rule book and I'll show it to you here real quick. Okay, so yeah, there's a lot going on with these. And let me hold this up so you guys can see that a little better. Just to show you, this is the Barrage Balloons, which is the word that I was trying to think about. Now that's the smaller ones. That's these little fellas right here. Really, really cool ones. And you can see there's a different way that these things move. That's their little altitude, the way that they're used in game. Yeah, so planes cannot fly directly under the balloons. They are anchored to the ground with steel cables. So it's kind of like a steel net hovering up into the sky so it can block off planes. So you can build vertical walls with the balloons. That's just so freaking cool, man. I also wanted to point out there is the special armament in cannons. So now you can actually have aircraft that can fire up to 3 distance away. Obviously, it's got to be directly behind when you're firing at distance, but you can have a longer distance. And it includes a chart when you're using a cannon because the cannon's much different than the machine gun. And then also it shows you how you're going to fire on balloons as well. Now, also, as we go through, where's the other part? Shows another chart having to do with our balloons, but the airship is the cool part I want to show you guys. We're not going to get into all the specific rules. They can't change altitude and stuff like that. They don't turn very fast. They don't move very fast. But airships were around during that time and used by plenty of the nations. They do have the rules for their use in game. And like I was saying, that's their firing arc, which you can see is much different. It's not just the way it was with normal aircraft where you're kind of just pointing at the front or out to the sides. This is all the way around, and even an overlapping section of fire depending on which direction you're coming in. So it's kind of like a big floating fortress that can put out fire, defensive fire, in any direction. Because I believe with the airships, they are just gray. Yeah, they're gray. So they're not doing offensive. But remember, there are rules in the game if you want to include the speed aspect to it. Because I showed you guys the basic way to play the game, which did not include pilot skill levels or speed modifiers for the game. If you include those, then you no longer have to worry about the defensive fire. So if you don't want to have defensive fire in, or I mean, even if you just want to use basic rules and just have everybody be able to shoot, it's fine. It's your game. Play it however you want. But if you want to go by the rules, there are rules, so you don't have to have the defensive fire in there. Oh, and I like it. It's got the rules here for the airships on how it's going to be affected if it's hit with the different types of damage, the blue, orange, green, red, that type of stuff. And then anti-aircraft action, different chart over here. Anti-aircraft zones. That's must be what these pieces are here that I was showing you guys. Let's see if we can show you the shape. It's a little bit harder when they're cut out like this, but it's kind of like a weird triangle. Let's see if we can get this boy pulled out. All right, so it's shaped kind of like this. Got to be those anti-aircraft zones, or you could probably use whatever shape. But all this stuff is included. This one, I think, adds the most new elements to the game. And then, of course, it has extra scenarios for you to play, ground scenarios, air, sea scenarios. Everything that you could want to play, it's got included. Yeah, neutralizing AA zones. And then it shows those new markers that I was just talking about right here in this picture. So that's got to be what those are, the AA zones. And then the grand battle. I almost want another set. I think they should, well, depending on if there's a demand for it or not, release these maps like as an individual pack. Because if you've got the expansions, you might want to do a huge map setup and have another 3 of these that you could hook together and have the map just streaming off in the distance. To have one huge battle going on, that would just be really freaking cool. Yeah, so this one is, let me show you the name of it so you know which one to get. This is the Age of Dogfights World War I main expansion. So the 2 big ones is additional aircraft types, and then the main expansion. The main expansion is the one that's going to have all the new stuff, all right? The stuff that's not necessarily in the main box. So this is where you're going to have your barrage balloons, your airships, some planes with some cannons, which I think some might exist in that one as well. Anti-aircraft zones. All of those types of things are going to be included here in the main expansion. Okay, so these are the 3 that you can get for the game. And some final thoughts about Age of Dogfights World War I. You guys already know that I like the game. There are some pros and cons to it. A few missteps maybe as far as components, but nothing I would consider major by any means. And this is a smaller company, like I said, more like DVG, and by that I mean mom and pop, family run, customer oriented. They are trying to take care of people. Do work with them though. I will give you this. If you do contact them and it takes them a little bit, or they're maybe a little terse in responding to you, it's not because they're being rude or anything. They just don't speak English, right? Or all of them don't speak English. I know the owner of the company does not speak English. He was using Google Translate to help communicate with me. So nothing against them. I mean, they don't live in an English-speaking country. So for that, I got to give them props, because I've had no problem when it comes to understanding any of the rules in the game. So they had someone do a very good translation of it. I can't speak to any translations that were done into any other languages besides English, but considering how well they did translating into English, I'd say they did an excellent job. All right, so my camera was acting a little funky. I had to restart it. All right, but anyway, I want to finish up with the last thoughts of the game. This one is pretty much a no-brainer if you were into World War I aircraft games. Flat out, it's a buy. Don't pass, don't have to wait for it on sale. It's already relatively decent price. And I believe it is hitting their retail section right about now, about the time frame you guys should be seeing this video going up anyway. History buffs. Obviously, if you're into the aircraft, you're going to be looking towards the expansions. If you don't care as much about the different nations and the different aircraft that they're running, that type of thing, you could get by very easily with just the main game, or just the main game and the main expansion. With that, I think you'll see the vast majority of what this game has to offer. These two boxes, they're good, they're awesome, but they're mainly just extra aircraft, right? That's all they are. Extra aircraft of a plethora of different nations. If you want that aspect, you can go that direction. But if you're just wanting to get the crux, like the main meaty bits of what the game is, you're only going to need the main box and then the main expansion. But yeah, I am definitely looking forward to seeing what they do with this series, where they go with it from here. I think this could translate very well into World War II with the type of dogfighting that was going on then, especially considering the massive evolution that was made in aerial combat between the beginning and the end of World War II. I would expect them to have just a plethora of things to work with for a game set in that system. Maybe make the map just a little bit bigger, since the aircraft will obviously be going faster. They'll need a little bit more space. I would obviously expect them to have the altitude adjusted a little bit, but this is all stuff that we'll have to discuss around that point when they get into it. But they might have to abstract it a little bit, because I'm thinking about it. We don't want to have too many altitude sticks to have to worry about. So we don't have to have one all the way up to like 15, you know, just depending on how high they'd have to do it. So probably keep it to a lower number just so it doesn't get too unwieldy. But we'll have to see what they do. Really would like to see them take this into a World War II scenario, though. If you guys do have any questions about the game, feel free to put those down below. And if there is something that you would like to see shown, like a little scenario of the game played, also feel free to put that down below, and I will see if I can get that on screen for you guys. All right, that's going to be it for me. Hope you guys have a good one. Y'all take care. I'll see you in the next one.